go to rest position. We're going to take you guys are pressed. That's really it. That's all we have. Thank you so much. That took us 8 months. Okay, guys, so we just went ahead. We're learning quickly. We didn't even bother trying to set up the microphone for it to not work tonight. So I'm just going to kind of fight through this awesome throat infection I've been rocking for a week and talk to you guys this way. So welcome to now the spring concert, the final performance of the year of our Renner beginning band. We're so happy to see you all here. If you were here in December, thanks for coming back. Good, you're halfway there. So we're hoping that you will be so impressed with how far these guys have come since then. They've been working really, really hard. They've had a busy semester. Whether they've told you about that or not is kind of on them, but they've been working very hard and learning a lot of new skills. So we know you're going to be so impressed with them tonight. On Monday, we took this group to the Courtyard Theater Music Festival, which is in Central Plano, the older area with the cobblestone streets and the really good German food. Yeah? Okay. We went out there and we performed the 2 band pieces you're going to be hearing tonight for a panel of very esteemed judges. And the bands did wonderfully. They were so professional and well prepared. We had to split them in half because we're actually bigger than their stage. So they performed in 2 groups and kind of watched each other and cheered each other on. And the judges commented not only on how professional and well taught they were, but on how respectful they were as audience members. So we're so pleased with them. Those judges gave them some feedback and comments, and they were also able to give them a score of a 1, 2, 3, or 4, which means superior, excellent, good, or fair. And all 3 judges gave both groups a 1, which is the best they could earn. So in addition to just the professionalism and preparedness comments, you know, they got feedback like what mature sounds. Somebody who's taught beginning band for about 25 years said, I would have never guessed these were beginning bands. So we're so pleased with them, and we know you will be as well. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to kick things off tonight with a full band piece. And then just like on the winter concert, we're going to go through each class individually so that you can get to hear a little bit more in detail your child, your student. So if you have a cell phone, I love how our thing still says pagers. Please, do any of you still carry, please tell me if any of you still carry a pager, I would love to know. And you're not a doctor. Okay, cool. All right, so silence your devices so that they don't ring or go off in between, and you're welcome to video and record it and any of those things. So our first piece this evening is called The Lost Kingdom. We hope you enjoy it.
All right, so if you grabbed one of these beautiful yellow sheets, one of the most important things your child can do after this year is to keep playing over the summer. To liken it to athletics, right now they're in shape, they're fit, they've got muscles, they're all set. If they go home for the next 3 months and sit on the couch and do nothing, they'll come back to us out of shape and not ready to go. Because our plan is as soon as they come back in the fall, we want to hit the ground running from right here. We don't want to take a couple months back, get them back into shape, and then go. So we'd love to start right here because we have a performance in 4 weeks once school starts. Very quickly for a football game. So
first time.
we don't have a lot of time. So it's also very hard to be motivated over the summer if there's no reason to practice other than in 3 months I need to be ready to go. So on this list there's a couple options. There's some full band camps. There's some instrument-specific camps that your children can go to. Some are far away. Some are close, depending on where you want your child to be over the summer. Some are 2 weeks long. Some are 1 day long, depending on what you want. But this is a great way for them to meet other people from around the city, from around the country that play their instrument, that are their age and their skill level. And they're also getting access to people who are world-class at their instruments. We're really, really lucky in this area to have people who know people, or people who are the people who are just world-class musicians. And so it's such a phenomenal opportunity at a lot of these camps for your children to interact and learn from and hear world-class musicians play, which is not an experience that we can necessarily provide them at Renner Middle School, but then the exposure will be so good for them. So if you have any questions, feel free to email myself or Mrs. McKellar, but here's kind of a shortcut list of camps. There's also other ones. There's many. If you hear of something else, you can ask us if it's legitimate or if we think it would be a good idea, and we can definitely look into it for you. But highly, highly, highly recommend that your students attend a band camp this summer. It's a ton of fun.
If you want to make it really, really clear to them how awesome they should come back, just tell them that their screen time has to equal their instrument time. Okay, so now we're going to move into our smaller groups. We're going to start with our brass family and flip the order from the winter concert. So we're going to start on the low, and the low brass class is going to play for us first. Okay, now let Mr. Brinkman kind of announce his classes for you.
First off, it's a low brass class. If you're in a low brass class, raise your hand so we can see. We've got trombones, we've got euphoniums, we've got tubas. We're playing a variation on a shepherd's tune, and some of you might know or have heard this tune before, but you'll kind of hear it presented, and then you'll hear a couple different variations. Ready? But one of the coolest parts of French horns is they've had a very prolific composer who loves the French horn. You may or may not have heard of him. He's composed pieces such as Jurassic Park, Star Wars, Indiana Jones, the like. So John Williams really loves the French horn, and so the horns we get to play, they get to play lots of really, really awesome melodies in movies and similar music. So they've got a theme for you today. You may or may not know it. It's Hedwig's theme from Harry Potter. its history, it began as kind of a signaling for either battle or for royalty. They would be used to announce things. So the trumpets are playing the king's, what's the second part? Trumpets. There we go. I remember now. King's trumpets. Player first note, please. One, two, first note, go. We want to do some really quick thank yous. We're so lucky here at Renner to have an incredibly supportive administration that lets us build the schedule that we need for these kids to be successful. I know Ms. Pitt is here tonight for us. So these kids in general have been taught so well about music from their elementary schools, and they're being taught here at Renner by their 6th grade teachers that came out to support them tonight. So if you are one of our elementary teachers or a current teacher at Renner and you're here this evening of your own free will, would you please stand and let us applaud for you as well? Okay, so we're going to go ahead and move into the woodwind family. We're going to go to the saxophone section next. The saxophones are doing okay, but they need a little help on their song. So if you are of the mind that you can find beats 2 and 4 instead of 1 and 3, we need a little bit of this going on. In just a second, I'll cue you when it's time to start for it. Saxophone first, please. Set. Okay, saxophone, please, stable. Turn your body. First note, hold it. Ready? 1, 1.
Yeah, hold on.
Way to go, Faith.
There you go. Okay. And these instruments are particularly challenging, and these guys have done a fantastic job learning these instruments this year. And as they go into high school, they'll get to learn the rest of their family of instruments like English horn and contrabassoon and so on. So here we go. Hold your first note.
Next we have the flutes. They'll be playing the popular Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
which is the percussion family. And if you were here on the winter concert, you got to hear them use a lot of their small accessories and their toys and their interesting little gizmos that they get to use from time to time. And so today we wanted to kind of bring it down to basics. What these kids really did was they spent like 3 months hitting a rubber pad with a wooden stick and then being told they were doing it wrong and they had to do it better. And so after all of that and everything we've learned since then, we found this piece that's actually written for pads to be played on, and it's called Launching Pad. Get it, right? And I thought it would be a nice treat to kind of show you just what the fundamental skills of these instruments are that we work on so often with this class. So please enjoy Launching Pad. for you back there on our final piece. I've got some just kind of quick reminders about end of the year, band assessments, those sorts of things that have gone on in the past few weeks that you may or may not have known about if you sent an email. If you don't usually get emails from me before big events, like I emailed out this itinerary a few days ago, I emailed out a reminder several weeks ago that they had auditions going on and to please encourage them to practice, then that means we don't have your right email address in Charms, which is in your band handbook, how to fill that out, or you can just email me your correct email address and I'll get you put in there. But we've also switched to a band website because Charms was always a little finicky if you've been using it about logging in and no matter what you do, your password is wrong and you have to reset your entire life. And so just to make life a little easier for you, we've got a band website that Mr. Brinkman put together for us that has our calendar and our contact information, important forms that you might need throughout the year. So if you'll just go to that website and kind of save it in your favorites, those are on the little blue sheets of paper. Okay? So you can grab one of those on your way out if you didn't get one on your way in. Now, the vast majority of these kids up in front of you are continuing in band. We talked in December about how much Plano believes in the importance of music and that they've laid out any level of degree plan you could want to achieve in Plano, including music. We don't have conflicts with athletics that we don't work around, very friendly with our athletics department here. And so back in January, they had to decide if they wanted to do band again, right? And a lot of life has happened since then. So if your child did not originally sign up for band next year and now they're thinking, you know what, this is a great program I want to continue to be a part of, that is literally as easy as emailing me and we put them back in. We had everybody do the end of the year assessment, so we already know what level they would need to be placed in. It's not like they missed something they can't come back from. So if they want to continue, you just send me an email and I'll get them in there if they didn't already sign up for it. For students who play school-load instruments, so that's your oboe, bassoon, French horn, tuba, euphonium parents, they will be turning in this instrument no matter what. That week after STAR testing, they need to take it home and oil it and grease it and clean it and get anything fixed that they can, and they'll turn it in. Then if they're not continuing next year, they won't have an instrument for the week of finals, and that's okay, we don't take a final. If they are doing band next year, they'll be issued their new instrument for 7th grade. So just like you did in the fall, you log into PayPams, you pay the fee, except for now you get 3 extra months out of your $85 because it's good from the end of May through the end of next May. And then they'll get to bring their new instrument home. Some of them might get a temporary instrument for the summer while we get everything else cleaned and repaired, and then they'll get it when school starts back. If you're renting your instrument and they're continuing in band, you need to continue to rent their instrument over the summer. Because like Mr. Brinkman said, we don't want them to come back and have lost all the work we've done by not playing for 3 months. If they're not continuing next year and you're renting, you can return that the week of finals. We'll be done with it. Okay? Now, auditions and band placements have been a big thing on a lot of these kids' minds. So just to kind of explain that to you, we have 4 levels of band here at Renner. They are currently in level 1. This is called beginning band. Okay? Then we have 3 levels above this. So the normal progression is to move from beginning band, level 1, into concert band, which is level 2. That's the move that most 6th graders make for 7th grade. And then at the end of 7th grade, they get to audition again to see what band they'd be in for 8th grade. We have a level 2 levels higher than this called symphonic band. That's our non-varsity band. These guys play music that's like grade half. And in concert band, they'll play the next level of difficulty. Symphonic band actually skips a level. Okay, so that's not really a normal thing to have happen, but some of them have come so far this year, they're ready to skip level 2 and kind of jump into level 3. And then very few, or maybe none of them as 6th graders, will demonstrate such good mastery of their instrument that we'll skip them all the way to our varsity band, which is called wind ensemble. That's very unusual to have that happen for 7th grade. That group is predominantly 8th graders because they've gotten all the same information they've gotten, but they've gotten it for a year longer. Okay. What I want you guys to know about our levels is that is so that we can help your children as best as possible. All of the bands do the same events throughout the year. The only difference is the level of difficulty of the music. So we want to put them somewhere they can feel successful and that they can grow and not feel confused or behind or bored with the material. So that's why we do that. But everybody who wants to be in band makes band. It's not like a tryout for an athletic team where you might make it or you might not. So if they want to be in band, we have a place for them. Okay? And they'll get that information the last week of school. And we just hope that you can trust us to know that we have nothing to gain from misplacing your child. right? So we really have their best interest in heart when we make those decisions, and we base it on what they've shown us this year and how they auditioned or assessed at the end of the year. Okay, but at the end of our last piece tonight, we of course have to do our quick cleanup that we did in December. So if you guys would just mind staying kind of on your side of the line. If you're in the doorway, just know that all of this is coming out through that doorway, okay, pretty quickly here. And we will have a little photo op at the end of our last song, so if your child's been buried, you know, on the other side of the gym wall, you're gonna get to see them really quickly at the end of this song, so have your camera ready if you need a photo op. And then for myself and Mr. Brinkman, we just wanna say thank you so much for trusting us with your child's instrumental education this year. We believe that band is very important, even if they're not gonna be musicians for life. And we hope that you're starting to see some of the effects of that as well. So thank you for being here with us tonight. Thank you for the reeds and the rentals and the port greases and the valve oils and the driving to lessons and the early pickups and the driving the tuba home in the back of your minivan. So would you guys please clap for your parents? They're really fantastic kids, and we're so lucky to work with them every day. One last quick note, and then we'll get on with the music. We had a couple students that moved in and joined us this year, and we're so happy to have them. Unfortunately, I didn't edit my program well enough, and I left them off. So we have Alanis in the food section and Valerie in the trombone section that joined us this year. And if you are their families, I will make you programs with their names in them and send them home with them. I'm so sorry. I promise I tried. Okay, so that being said, we hope you guys have enjoyed our spring concert. Our final piece of the evening is Defender of Time by Rob Grice. Thank you, and have a happy, safe summer. Our 7th and 8th grade spring concert is next Thursday at 6 o'clock in the cafeteria, and your child can get extra credit for their class by attending. So thank you so much again. We're going to get them over to you quickly. All right, Dan, if you would close your binders, put them under your chair.
This is the process. I can imagine it's a well-oiled process. Ms. McKellar's done this a few times. Sometimes